Welcome everybody to our coverage of the 2021 PDGA Amateur Disc Golf World Championships in Orlando, Florida, powered by Dynamic Discs and Latitude 64. You are watching MA1 Lead Card Round 3 Back 9 coverage, brought to you by us folks here at BDub Pro. Providing commentary today is myself, Cameron Makiling, and my buddy Grant Zellner from the PDGA. And we're here at the back 9 at T2, the Turkeynator. Looking at the scorecard, you can see things are pretty tight here on the lead card. All of the young gentlemen here, putting in the work. And kicking us off on the back 9 here at hole 10, a 303-foot par 3, sorry.
This hole, pretty straightforward. It appears to have quite a bit of right-hand finish on it. I don't know that that's not going to tempt our players to shape a shot more aggressively than they actually need to. You might be able to throw something pretty straight and find yourself, 25 feet or something directly to the left of the hole with a nice putt there. But the shape, as you can see off the tee, certainly looks like you need to bend something to the right. Evan stepping up to attempt to do just that. Catches that fairway edging tree right there.
Oh, yep, you can see when you try to start working it to the right too hard, you do. There's a lot more blind trees behind that first one that you can't really see off the.
Aidan looking to hold something straight and does so. We'll see how this finishes.
Oh, look at that! Is so close to being a sweet tournament ace and buying himself absolutely well-deserved birdie down there.
Let's see if Ezra can hold this shot straighter, longer. He really had a straight shape on that, just threw it low enough that skip drug that disc further to the right. Now he's going to be saving par.
Robert with a big birdie putt. Just leaves it a little short. I believe we missed Evan's upshot there, but solid par save from Evan.
Yeah, fairly
about
long
25
par save.
feet.
Yeah.
Aidan going to gain a stroke on the card here and tie himself up with Evan for the lead. And we are going to move on to hole 11, a 506-foot par 4.
A dogleg to the right. This hole really reminiscent of hole number 1. Remember hole number 1 way back then?
I do, just barely. If I close my eyes tight enough and just really think about it, I can imagine what hole 1 looked like.
You've got a little bit of a gap to navigate and then a landing zone. And then from that landing zone, you'll make the corner and try to nestle your second shot up there for a birdie. So very similar feel. These guys maybe even throwing the exact same disc. Aidan actually going, no, he hasn't gone too long. He's still got a good.
Might be a little more left than he wants to be on the finish there, but he does have, he has a look around that corner at the basket still. Now that's a perfect place to be for your second shot.
Yeah, Robert can choose from a forehand or a backhand for his approach. Ezra, another excellent placement shot from Ezra. And now Evan into a little bit of trouble off the tee and then goes long with that forehand. He'll try to find a backdoor opportunity into this green.
Ooh, very low out of Aidan's hand there.
Yeah, he was really frustrated with that effort. He knew just a few more feet, even throwing it too low, just a few feet further, it would have skidded all the way up to the basket. So he was very disappointed. Evan with a difficult upshot in hopes of saving his par and executes this just perfectly.
Just barely squeaks by that little tree right there. Much better forehand on that second attempt there from Aidan.
Oh my God.
Stroke just seemed a little off on that one.
Yeah, Ezra's struggling just a little bit at this point in his round. He had a share of the lead just a couple of holes ago. And in a situation now where he just wants to put 2 good shots in a row together. 2 good shots in a row often will give you at least a birdie opportunity, whether it's a par 3 or a par 4. Well, I guess a par 3, 2 good shots in a row would be the birdie.
Right. And
the aforementioned birdie.
We haven't really touched on it too much, but this is the second round that these players are playing today. So here at hole 11, by the end of it, they'll have played 36 holes of golf just today. So got to be tiring. And only a few more holes to push through here as we get to hole 12, a 342-foot par 3.
Just a forehander's dream. A very easy shot if you've got a good stock forehand.
Right, something overstable. Just let it fade out to the right. And yeah, if you've got 300 feet of distance on your forehand, this is
now,
this
of
is
course,
textbook.
Knowing that a shot is supposed to be easy can sometimes add a little bit of pressure in a sort of backwards way. Robert thought that shot was perfect out of his hand and then catches really the only true obstacle deep down the fairway.
That is a great drive from Aidan. Going to park himself down there by the basket.
Yep, up and around. Evan, this is that same driver that he threw back on hole 8, I believe it was. Counting on a hard skip. Ends up throwing the disc a bit higher, I think, than he intended, though.
Going to be right down there by Ezra. Maybe a step away from him.
Ezra with an opportunity now to see if he can scrounge up a stroke. Oh, gets the kick into the thick stuff.
Direct smack. Now he's scrambling a little bit from over here. That is tough.
We'll do it again. Thankfully, he didn't jump that fence. Stays on the good side.
Just a little left there for Evan. Robert finding a lot of
off the
cage today.
Yeah. That was a really, really good putt to save a bogey.
Yep.
You do not want a double bogey for any reason on this card.
No.
A double bogey in most circumstances is going to lose 2 or 3 strokes to somebody on the card.
Yeah. Yeah. Double bogey at this level is detrimental. Like it would ruin your day, honestly, unless you've got a significant enough lead, which I don't think anyone really has.
Not yet, no. These guys, and it should be said, these guys have opened up a little bit of a gap on everybody from the chase card on back.
Right. Yeah. Very tightly packed lead card, and they are, as a group, running away with it. Hole 13, 317-foot par 3.
Very, very similar to hole number 12, just a little bit shorter. Similar shape, similar finish. Maybe even the similar disc for these guys. Just about a 30-foot difference or so in the length of the hole.
Yep. Seeing that same exact play there from Aidan with almost the exact same outcome. Robert hanging it wide and going around those trees there. I like that play. He
turned around, a little sheepish grin. He didn't mean to go on that side of that tree. Everything else, though, exactly as he executed. Evans slipped a little Some of these tee boxes still a little bit wet from that rain shower we had earlier, and he slipped a little on the tee box. Interesting that he decided to go with a backhand after having gone with a forehand on the previous hole when they're so similar, but he's really comfortable with that disc.
That is looking clean there from Ezra. Gets a great flare and basically parks himself about 12 feet from the basket. Oh, what a great bid.
Aidan opening up a 2-shot lead on Evan.
And Robert. Oh, Robert closing that down to 1.
Robert keeping it close.
Yep,
so
keeping
we've got
it close.
For the first time, maybe all around, not a single person on the card is tied. Everybody owns their own score. I don't know if that means anything. It's just an interesting observation.
Great birdie there from Ezra. Good correction on the last hole. And Evan going to take his 4th par in a row. Kind of having a mid-round slump here, it seems like, maybe just a little bit. Hole 14, 350-foot, par 3.
Playing in the opposite direction of the 2 previous holes. This one of the few holes on the course, this hole, the one coming up after it on 15, one of the few holes on the course that brings out of bounds into play in some capacity. Either the shot you're going to have to throw is going to bring the out of bounds into play, or the out of bounds is just close enough that a bad tree kick could force your disc out and over an OB area. There you can see the road coming in.
And then beyond that is Turkey Lake. I think that's Turkey Lake. I don't know the geography around here, but
I think you're correct. Hey, whatever it is, it's Alligator Lake.
That is
I
true.
know that.
I couldn't find one. I was looking.
I've been looking closely for alligators and haven't seen any yet. I did see a stick that I mistook as an alligator yesterday.
I saw some really cool birds, but no alligators. I saw some turtles on a log. That was pretty cool.
Ezra off the tee, really looking to find some momentum at this point in his round.
Flirting with that OB just a little bit there.
Yeah.
Getting close. Luckily, the grass stopped him.
And here's Evan just shaping a beautiful shot, dancing around on that green. Lots of roots. They're difficult to see here in Florida, but some of these trees, they've got a lot of root that poke up here and there. It's difficult to walk in some places, actually, without turning an ankle.
Right.
And this stretch of this course, a lot of roots come into play. Oh!
A couple of just barely missed putts there.
Robert off the top. And now Evan suddenly with an opportunity to gain a stroke on the card, which he does.
Just barely squeaks it over the cage and grabs some chains there for a solo bird.
You'll notice there aren't flags denoting the circle's edge on this course. So Evan did the right thing. He asked his card mates, am I in or out? They all agreed that he was just out, and so he took advantage of that with a step putt.
These boys are going to clean up their pars, and we're actually going to take a quick commercial break.
Disc golf was a sport that nobody knew about when I first started playing. I had to explain it to my parents, my family.
When I first started, I grew up in Ohio playing disc golf and just playing locally.
It was, not as big of a deal. There was never a gallery. There was never video coverage. I've been touring for the last decade and seeing this early point in development now to this crazy growth.
Parents can want their kids to play disc golf because there's a future there, there's money, there's professionalism.
I just imagine it just getting bigger and better, and I'm excited to be part of it.
And we are back from commercial break at hole 15, a 375-foot par 3.
Very similar to hole 14 with one exception. Tighter in the fairway because of the early trees, and then tighter at the green itself because of the way the road, which is out of bounds, angles in toward the green during the last, maybe 50 to 60 feet of this hole. So again, out of bounds making an appearance, a rare appearance in this round.
Evan gets a really nice curve to that flight.
Another beautiful shot from Evan. Yeah.
Going to be 12, 15 feet from the basket down there. Excellent drive. Oh, and that needs to stable out.
Yeah, it does. And sure enough,
touches down and rides down the path for another 55 feet or so.
He went out of bounds fairly early as well. He won't be inside the circle. He'll be back 55, 60 feet with a one-stroke penalty here in a moment.
Oh, yeah,
Evan grip locked that and was saved by that big tree from going out of bounds.
Yep. Ezra and Robert both getting caught up
Excuse
early.
me. That's Ezra, not Evan.
Both getting caught up early by those trees, having to put a little more work in to get up to the basket here. Very smooth forehand.
Here's Aidan from around 60 with a stroke penalty right on the edge of that OB road. Gave it a go.
Yep, definitely wanted to save his par there.
And Evan makes up 4 strokes in 3 holes. Just like that.
Just like that. Taking the solo bird there. Robert Burridge going to knock out his par.
Aidan to clean up. By the way, if we haven't mentioned it yet, Aidan and Evan, no relation.
No relation. There is also another Scott that was on the second round lead card, which we were not there filming, but there was a third Scott member out here as well. None of them are related as far as I have been told. Hole 16, a 345-foot par 3.
Yeah, this one with a fairly significant water carry. Another thing that you can't see from the tee is that out of bounds line pretty far in from where the water obviously ends on the shore, because you've got a really thick brush. They're gonna back it up just a little bit to make sure that you don't have a lurking alligator right on the edge of the shore, so they back the out of bounds up just a little bit. You actually need to carry another 15 or even 20 feet in some places over the water before you clear the out of bounds line.
Yeah. With that, there's a dock over there. That area between the dock here and the tee pad is very, maybe a deep swamp kind of vibe right here.
Yeah.
And I was looking hard. That is the perfect. If I was an alligator, that's where I would hang out. So there is a sign right there that does let you know that it is an alligator habitat.
Ezra going with a lower, harder shot rather than the high hyzer. Aidan back to the high hyzer.
This is a really fun hole.
It really is. Boy, you can see how that OB can come into play, though. He hit a tree, dropped straight down, and was no more than 3 good steps off of that out-of-bounds line. So it does come into play again on this hole.
The wind also coming into play as I think it got underneath Robert's putt just there as he lifted right up past the basket. Out here on this point on the lake, a lot of wind here compared to what we've been seeing for pretty much the duration of the round.
Oh, by far the windiest part of the round, and that includes that little thunder shower that came through earlier. This was by far the windiest part of the round. This was the first and really only time in the round the players had to take that into account. It made for some challenging putts for sure.
Evan was able to convert on a turkey there after going par. And we're on to the second to last hole here, hole 17, a 475-foot par 4.
This hole shaped like a number 7, and you are at the base of the 7 on the tee. One difference that I learned yesterday, there used to be a large tree in the fairway to the left off the tee that forced an even sharper angle to the 7. In other words, you had to drive out further to the right and then have more than a 90-degree angle back to the left. That large tree gone thanks to a hurricane, as it was explained to me, and these guys able to sort of arc a tee shot into that landing zone now.
Yeah, you can see them all just trying to get up here into this area where these trees start to get a little thicker so that they can have a good look at the pin for their second throw.
Sort of a par 3.5 now, thanks to losing that tree. The pin from this landing zone, no more than 120 feet maybe.
Yeah, very good grouping there from the lead card. Everyone with a look at the basket. Evan having to do a little bit of stretching, but
Yeah, having to choose a unique line and doing so pretty well there. Lots of options, though, from where these guys landed. Whatever you're comfortable with. Obviously, Robert there comfortable with the forehand. Aidan more comfortable with the forehand. Plenty of room. If he had wanted to play the backhand, could have. Comfortable with the forehand. But you see how short that upshot was. And they'll have kick-in birdies.
yep, one of the easier par fours, but also very, very well executed by our lead card. Just showing exactly what it takes to be competing for a world championship here at the 21 Worlds. And there it is, another star frame. And we're going to move right on to the last hole of the day, hole 18, a 240-foot par 3.
Plays in kind of an island that's created by the roadways here deep in this park. Because of the distance, feels like a must get to these players, and you always want to end feeling good about your round. So these guys feeling just a little bit of pressure. I got to finish well. I'm in a tight battle. I really need this birdie.
Early tree there for Evan. I think I do like this tee pad, how instead of giving you alternate tees, they just tell you how far back you have to finish your run up.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. The blue tee pad and the red tee pad just sort of married together, but if you're playing from the long tees as we are today, you don't get all of that space.
It's about 10 foot longer of a hole for the blue tee.
It's tempting, but don't do it.
Everyone just looking for...
Yeah, everybody off the tee feeling like they needed to do well by birdieing this hole. Now feeling like they just want to leave with a par.
A little low.
Robert, though, gaining a stroke on the card with that birdie and a stroke on the leader, bringing himself to within one at the close of his third round of this championship.
Par here for Evan. 4 birdies in the last 9 holes. Put him on a tear there for a little bit. Going to take him to solo lead.
Yeah.
After 3 rounds.
Yeah, went from 2 back of the leader to as many as 2 ahead of the leader, and who was leading, I should say, Aidan, and retains a 1-stroke lead now on Robert.
Yep, and we will see this scorecard one more time. Robert Burridge with the hot round of the day at 9 under, able to jump all the way to second place. Evan Scott and Aidan Scott, unrelated, both 7 under par.
Evan playing about 30 points above his rating so far during this championship.
Yeah, very impressive scores and showing from the leader and from the entire lead card, who is going to remain the same. They have changed order just a little bit here, but even after the shuffle that is going to happen tonight, this leaderboard is going to remain pretty much untouched here. And Evan Scott just 1 stroke ahead as we move into round 4.
Through 2 days and 3 rounds of play here at the 2021 PDGA Amateur Disc Golf World Championships, I'm here with Evan Scott, leader now going into round 4 after a stellar round. How does it feel?
It feels good. It definitely feels good to be in the lead. I had a pretty slow start to the 3rd round today, but finished out pretty good to get back in the lead. Tomorrow's a much tighter course. A lot more could go wrong, so I just try to keep it in the fairway as much as I can and make putts.
All right, the young man on the card, leading the card into day 4. Congratulations, Evan. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Here with Robert Burridge, Houston, Texas. It's got to feel like home here in Central Florida. The hot round of the day, bringing the heat to Central Florida. How did you feel out there today?
I felt pretty good. My putting wasn't the best today, but I made a few long ones. And my drives were on, so all I needed was opportunity. And I ended up getting enough birdies to put myself in solo second.
Follow us at PDGA on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and head to pdga.com and sign up for a PDGA membership if you do not already have one. And you can find us at BDub Pro on Facebook and Instagram, and head over to our YouTube channel and like a video and hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming content. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will catch you tomorrow with our round 4 lead card coverage.